If you are receiving this transmission, you are the Resistance.
Well, the testosterone is definitely flowing over here for me. I'm very, very riled up today. But the anger is flowing. It's just a righteous indignation. I'm so furious. I'm so furious with these scumbags. The neocons on one side, then we have the globalists, and then we have the trendies, and then we have the liberal boomers coming up with these conspiracy theories that Putin, Trump, and Kim Jong-un are creating this fake peace summit in order to usher in their own version of the New World Order. Meanwhile, we have actual documents. We have truth. We have facts. I know that those words are anathema to them, but we have real, honest-to-God truth. We have documents proving that the IMF, the World Banks, all of these things are orchestrating world events for actual reasons. We have, proof that we invade Iraq and Syria and Libya for these other, nefarious reasons, and we're conspiracy theorists. I'm personally sick of it. And if you're not angry, you're not paying attention, to borrow a term from a movement that, I'm not particularly fond of. But anyways, I'm Jake Lloyd. This is Harrison Smith. This is the War Room. We're angry. We're fighting against the globalist onslaught of information, and we are going back out to the phone lines to take your calls. Let's see. Let's go to who's been waiting the longest. Gerald from Arkansas. He wants to talk about Bannister and Tommy Robinson. So, Gerald, go ahead.
Hey, listen, it's great to hear you guys. You guys make a lot of sense. You're talking about search and prove. That's the biblical term, search and prove all things. And that's what Joe Bannister did. I am a former Marine. I served under John F. Kennedy. So I was right there in history when he was assassinated. He printed United States notes redeemable for silver, and that's one of the reasons they killed him. It was more than one, but see, the counterfeit system we're in is fiat. That's how they control everything and everybody, by fiat. So,
yep.
Document, prove, and Joe Bannister's done that. If people go to his website, they'd figure out what he's saying. He's not saying you're a tax avoider. You're a constitutionalist who believes the Constitution is the supreme law of the land.
Exactly. Well, by paying into the system, we're really just financing the globalist system that our economy props up at the moment, because like you said, it's all fiat. We got rid of the gold standard, and it was supposed to be a temporary thing. We got rid of the Bretton Woods program, which was this idea that the United States would act as the world's reserve currency, and you could exchange dollars for gold at a certain rate, and it worked pretty well. It worked pretty well because there was a solid foundation. Now, I would even say that we don't need to be the world's reserve currency on any level, but it does set us up to have a powerful currency. But then we got rid of it, and it was a fiat currency. And now we are still the world's reserve currency, but it's still fiat currency. And the way that this works is that, we have a deal with OPEC that all oil sales will be done in denominations of U.S. dollars. And because of this, if France, for example, wants to buy oil from Saudi Arabia, they have to come to the United States and exchange some of their money for U.S. dollars, and then they can go and buy it from OPEC. Well, OPEC, of course, it's more convenient for them to just spend U.S. dollars in the U.S. rather than exchanging them there for other stuff. So then we have more of those U.S. dollars coming back to us. So it really props up our economy in a lot of ways, but it's very unstable because if some other country like China could set up their own petrocurrency, it could just... the whole thing could come toppling down like a deck of cards, or a house of cards, rather.
Oh, that Kissinger made a deal in the 70s with the Saudis that you buy our debt, we'll buy your oil. That's documented. So gold and silver. If we were still the Article 1, Section 10. Now you guys know the Constitution has to be amended if you want to change it, right?
Right.
Okay, Article 1, Section 10. Look it up. No state shall make anything but gold and silver as a payment of debt. Well, that's still the same thing. They're just covering it up. That's what I'm saying. I got one other quick question about the Tommy Robinson thing, and I was asking the guy who took my name calling in, and it's just a question. Jones is good friends with Trump, right?
They know each other, sure.
Well, I know he was on the program. But look, I'm an avid watcher of the news. Like I say, I'm a historian. I'm a true patriot. I'm a true conservative. Because what are you conserving? If you're not conserving the Constitution, you're blowing in the wind. So why couldn't Jones go to Trump and say, hey, let's just go to Britain and work out some kind of a deal for them to release Tommy and his family over here as refugees? We provide a home for the radical Muslims. Surely we can provide one for Tommy and his family.
I believe there's actually a change.org petition for that exact thing. There are people I know working behind the scenes trying to get this to Trump's attention. So it's a great idea, and I think you're exactly right. And I'd also say that I think you're exactly right about the Constitution, and this is something that I realized recently is, the word conservative is not exactly right because you can't conserve a forest that's already been cut down, right? We can't conserve something that's already been taken from us. It has to be a renaissance, a revolution, a rebirth of what has already been lost or destroyed, which is the Constitution in this case. And also the idea of, it's like, man, everything's so bad, everything's so twisted and messed up. We need a revolution. We need a revolution. We need to overthrow everything and install something new. But it's like, we don't need anything new. We almost need like a re-revolution. We need to just do it again because we already have the Constitution. It's great. It's fine. We just need to follow that. If we just follow that, everything would be great. So if we could just trash everything, just clear the table, start with the Constitution again and go, all right, let's try this again. Let's stay on the path this time. I think you're exactly right.
Right on the target. Yeah.
And I totally agree about all of that. And to speak to what you mentioned about Tommy Robinson, I think that you're totally right. And that's why we have been hammering this in so hard. Because, if you look at the things that InfoWars has accomplished, we have Roger Stone. He did a great thing by using this platform to help make progress in the VA. He actually, what he did here on the War Room was able to reach the ears of the White House, and they were able to put a stop to the unnecessary torture, what was effectively torture, of animals. And Roger is very close with the president, so I think it's possible that if we here at InfoWars, if we continue to hammer this in, and if the viewers and listeners out there continue, please just spread it on Facebook, make your own videos about it on YouTube, tweet it at Donald Trump, just spread it out there. Do not let it go under the radar. As long as Tommy Robinson is in jail, as long as his life is at risk, please do not rest on talking about it, because that could just as easily be myself or Alex Jones or any of us here at InfoWars. It could be you. It could be you. If we're not able to turn things around fast enough, it could be us. And the British government, what they're doing, it could be our government. We're on that trajectory. Luckily, we have Trump, so we're able to kind of turn it around. But it's like turning a freight liner around. It's like it takes a long time, and some bad stuff might happen before we get it fully turned around. Yeah,
and one of the things I know people are doing, which is incredibly effective, is creating art about Tommy, not just memes. Memes are the obvious go-to, but there is a song that's been going around. I saw Owen Benjamin performing it. That I can't. It's set to a famous melody or it's sort of almost a parody of a famous song, but essentially it's just a protest song. It's like all those protest songs that we know from the '60s with Bob Dylan and all those people. Well, this is the new age. This is the new counterculture, and for us to be a counterculture, we have to create culture, and part of that is this creating original art that is attractive to people. People will just like it because of just it's art, and it's a good song. People will like that, but it has a message. It has a meaning. It gets the word out. It hits you emotionally because music has that ability to affect you emotionally. And so it's write your politicians, write your congressmen, sign petitions online, but also go out and make things. Go out and hang up signs.
Don't fall into the globalist trap of thinking that because we're not in the old days and we're not like literally under physical attack that there's no urgency. Go out there on all of these internet spheres and vigorously fight, because hopefully he doesn't have to go down as a martyr of any sorts, but Tommy Robinson will be remembered as one of those great men and women who fought for what they believed in. They fought for what was right and moral and good, and they suffered consequences for it. Hopefully it's not the ultimate consequence. Stay with us. We'll be right back on the other side with more hard-hitting info and your calls. This is the War Room. We'll be right back.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the Resistance.
Every morning before I start writing or shooting a video, I take 2 capsules of Brain Force for a sustainable burst of energy. This is, without question, the most powerful nootropic I've ever taken, and it comes without any of the crashes or the jitters associated with energy drinks. It's additive free, nothing artificial. It's Brain Force Plus. Read thousands of 5-star independent reviews right now and get your Brain Force Plus at InfoWarsLife.com.